Welcome to PinCommerce Week 1, starting right now. PinCommerce is a course by the Smart Marketer team and Ezra Firestone about Pinterest advertising and e-commerce direct response sales funnels. You must watch the lead-in webinar to this training for context. If you have not watched that and you ended up on this call, I don't know how you got here, but if you haven't watched that, or you didn't catch the whole thing or something like that, go ahead and go into the Facebook group, and I posted it in there for you. It'll be available in there for the next day. Tomorrow morning or by tomorrow afternoon, we will have a members area that you will be able to log into, and you'll be emailed your password for that members area, and that members area will contain the recording of tonight's training as well as the recording of the introduction webinar. So I highly recommend that you watch that for context on what we're going to be discussing tonight. If you don't, you won't really be, if you haven't watched that, you won't really understand what we're talking about. So it'd be really good for you to watch that. This is a 4-week live training program. So this is a 4-week live training program, and you, let's see, you are in the beta group for this course. And so what that means is that this is not a pre-done training. There is no modules, there is no members area. This is a live look over my shoulder training. Pinterest ads is changing all the time, and what I'm going to be teaching you is direct response e-commerce sales funnels. And you know, some people would say the live courses are better because you get, access to me every week to ask questions, and you get, live training instead of recorded training. Recorded training generally costs more, so one of the reasons that you paid only half price for this course is because there's not a pre-recorded structure. But I actually am a fan of the live courses myself, so I think that just want you to know, some people have been asking about where's the members area. This is a live course. We'll be doing at least four live trainings, and we have that Facebook group which you have access to for at least 3 months. Might extend that a little bit for you, but that's the deal. That's why you got into this course half price, is because this is a live program. This is not a pre-recorded course. For example, if any of you are students of my Channelizer method, that was a pre-recorded course that you logged into a members area from day 1 and had access to pre-recorded modules. So that's not this, and if you have been wondering where your access to your members area is, there is not one. We are creating one to house the recordings of these training sessions. If you are a non-USA pinner, you are on hold from ads. So what that means is that right now, Pinterest ads are only available to those in the United States. And there's a guy named George who I know who actually got access to Pinterest ads who is not in the United States, but when he went to put in his billing, Pinterest said, hey, you need a United States IP and a United States credit card. So he thinks he can get around that. But the point is that if you're a non-USA pinner, you're on hold until Pinterest releases ads to other places in the world besides the United States. Now, the truth of the matter is that Pinterest ads was the exciting hook that I used to get you into this program. But really what this program is about is direct response e-commerce sales funnels. And at the end of the day, if you want to grow your business outside of Amazon, that's what you need to understand. And so while I will be teaching you about Pinterest ads, and while you'll be getting the first information that I know of that's published about Pinterest ads for e-commerce, you will not have access to Pinterest ads. So if that is going to be a deal breaker for you, then you should bail on this training now. Though I think that if my viewpoint is that if you're smart, you'll stick around because you get to see all of this amazing stuff about how Pinterest ads works and how e-commerce sales funnels work that you can use on platforms like Facebook and other stuff like that while you're waiting for Pinterest. And you will get Pinterest eventually. And the good news is that you don't have Pinterest, but neither do your competitors. And you will get it eventually, and you'll get it long before anyone else if you're in our training, because you'll be doing the stuff that gives you access to Pinterest ads. You're in the PinCommerce beta. I explained what that meant. It just means that we have not that this is live, that you're with me live every week, and I'm going to be sharing with you exactly what we're doing and exactly, you know, as these campaigns progress, as we run different tests, as we have new ad creatives and things like that, you'll be able to see all that stuff with us live. And that is why you got in at the beta price. And so I just want you to know that you're in, you know, when we upgrade this course, which I imagine we will do, because Pinterest is only growing, and like it's incredible how well the traffic converts and stuff like that. So I imagine we will do an updated version. I'm not promising that because you never know what's going to happen, but it looking very likely that we will do an updated pre-recorded version. Of course, you will get access to that because you're my beta group, but I want you to know that you are a beta group. And this is not a Facebook course. Now, I'm going to be talking about Facebook. I'm going to be showing you Facebook retargeting. I'm going to be showing you Facebook ad units. I'm going to be showing you how we're running Facebook traffic to our direct response e-commerce sales funnels, and in particular the Dipsy Doodle and the Don Daliber sales funnel, which is what we're focusing on in this course because it's the best one. But this is not a Facebook course, okay? I could spend 8 weeks doing just Facebook training, but that's not what this course is about. So while you will get some of that, because I like to give and I like to under-promise and over-deliver, please do not be under the assumption that you are attending a Facebook advertising course, because that's not what this is. And you know, I'll answer some questions and stuff like that, but we won't be getting super detailed on the Facebook side of things. So let's do a very quick recap, which is that this is the sales funnel that we're talking about, a traffic source, in this case Pinterest, that goes to a Dipsy Doodle pre-sale page, and this page is designed to engage someone in a conversation and then allude to a solution and get them to click a link, and that link goes over to your sales funnel, which in our case that we used for the example is our Boom by Cindy Joseph store, but that sales funnel could be anything. That could be a long form sales page, it could be a video sales letter, it could be an Amazon product. I'm going to be showing you especially, I'm going to be doing a module especially about Amazon and how to go from the Dipsy Doodle pre-sale page over to Amazon in this training program. I believe that is next week, maybe the 3rd week, but I think it's actually the 2nd week. I'll double check that. Traffic source to a pre-sale engagement page where we place a retargeting pixel. I'm going to be showing you how to place both a Google AdWords retargeting pixel and a Facebook retargeting pixel. They move from this pre-sale page over to a sales page where we have another retargeting pixel, also a Google AdWords retargeting pixel and a Facebook ads retargeting pixel, and then a checkout sequence and a follow-up. So that's what the sales funnel is. PinCommerce is 2 things. This course we are focusing on 2 things very deliberately. We're focusing on traffic, which is Pinterest in this case. We're really going to dive into Pinterest ads, and we're also going to talk a little bit about some other sources that we use for this same sales funnel, which is Facebook and the Google Display Network, which are really, you know, kind of non-talked about sources. Facebook's widely talked about, but the Google Display Network's really not very talked about. So it's 2 things: it's traffic and it's a sales funnel. And the sales funnel that we're showing you is our most profitable sales funnel, and it's called the Dipsy Doodle and the Don Daliber. So that's really what you can expect in this course. You can expect to have a thorough understanding of Pinterest traffic as it exists today. It is changing all the time, and we will be, you know, it's not going to change very much. It's a pretty straightforward traffic source. It's contextual traffic with queries. So we'll get into that in a later module. But today's module is about setting up things so that we can get access to Pinterest ads as well as getting the first part of our sales funnel built. So let's talk about the Pinterest side of things first tonight, what we can do on Pinterest to get ready and how we can help each other, and then we'll move in to the sales funnel side. First things first, promoted pins are being handed out on an organic engagement of your Pinterest account basis, right? So how organic your Pinterest account is and how much engagement you have is what's determining whether or not you get your Pinterest ads account. So here's what you need to do first, okay? You need to fill out your profile completely. That's the profile image, the account settings, and the site verification. So let's run through that over here live on the website. Come over here to Pinterest. Here I am in a brand new Pinterest account. So this is a Pinterest account for my company, Be Friendly Skincare. It's the company I run with a business partner, brilliant guy, also part of the Smart Marketer team. His name's Mike. So this is our Be Friendly Pinterest account. This is our feed here. You can see it's a bunch of home stuff. When we click into this, we only have one board that has 16 pins on it because I'm going to be Pinterest pre-gaming for this account along with you. you'll notice it's got my website here and the check mark because the website has been verified. And I'm going to be showing you exactly how we're going to pregame on this account. The first thing I want you to do is just to show you is that you can click on this little drop-down arrow, go to account settings, and there's a bunch of stuff that you got to do, right? So you got to have your email address, your language, your country, your brand, your contact name. Go ahead and select also use sites you visited recently for personalization. Go ahead and turn that on. And then scrolling down, so that's what you got to do there. Everything else should already be filled out. Make sure that you have a profile image. Now your profile image is 165 by 165, so make sure you're not using the Pinterest default one. Make sure that you have chosen a deliberate username for your Pinterest account. Make sure that you fill out your About You section. So this is going to be natural skincare products for women. Make sure that you've got a nice About section, maybe more than a sentence. Make sure you put in your location. So this is a completely new account, and I did this on purpose because I wanted you to see all this stuff. And make sure you verify your website. Some of you have been having trouble verifying your website. We use Shopify for our website, and I highly recommend you do the same. We'll be talking about that in a moment. You want to, even if you're not using Shopify, make sure you get your website verified. It's not that hard. You can ask questions in the Facebook group. Here under notifications, have all this stuff turned on. Give Pinterest the ability to contact you in any way they want. Connect your social networks. Connect Facebook, connect Twitter, connect Google Plus if you have that. So connect these 3 social networks if you have them, or connect any ones that you have. So that's going to be the first step, is going to be connecting your social networks, making sure that your profile is completely filled out and that your website is verified. So you've got to do those things first. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. If you have questions about it, you can post inside the members area, inside the Facebook group, and we will respond to you. But I just wanted to show you inside of Pinterest so that you could see that and you'd know how to do that. So that's the first thing that you have to do, is make sure your profile is completely filled out. Profile image, account settings, site verification, social networks. Now, you must create at least 10 boards related to your audience, and you must pin to it 15 to 20 pins per day between 6 p.m. and 12 a.m. Eastern. Now this might seem like a lot, but that will actually only take you 10 minutes. If you can't devote 10 minutes per day to your Pinterest account, then you're not going to get access to Pinterest ads sooner than you could. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. I'm going to show you some sneaky little tricks here in a moment. But the first thing you need to know is that you need at least 10 boards related to your audience. So and I'm going to show you what that means. 15 to 20 pins per day between 6 p.m. and 12 a.m. Eastern. The reason is most people attend Pinterest at night. You can just do that in your time zone. We just do it in our time zone, Eastern, but if you're in California, you can just do it in your time zone. But you don't want to be pinning early in the morning because you won't get very many repins. You'll notice over here on Be Friendly, if we go back over to the Be Friendly Pinterest account, I just created that board yesterday. This board, I pinned to it 16 times. I'll show you how. Took me 5 minutes, and I already got 2 repins. So I'm getting some organic engagement on this account because I'm doing my pinning. Now, if I was doing more, if I was doing 15 to 20 pins per day, which I'm going to start doing, then I'd be getting even more. So here's a sneaky little trick for how to find cool things to pin related to your market. What you can do is you can go to Pinterest.com /source/any domain related to your market.com, and that is going to show you all of the pins from that website. So you'll notice if I go, I have it picked up here already for Pinterest.com /source/boom by Cindy Joseph. I can see everything anyone's pinned from my website. And you'll notice most of it is my actual ad, people repinning my ad, but I've got a lot of products that have been pinned as well. So that's Pinterest.com. I spelled that wrong. I'll just fix that here. Pinterest.com, Pinterest. Jeez. All right, maybe I won't fix it. There it is. Pinterest.com/source/adomain.com. And here's a sneaky little trick, and I'm going to show you how to create these boards in a moment. Create a popular board, and this is going to be very important for all of us, okay? I need you guys to do this. So there's a URL here, which is Pinterest.com. And again, this is getting set up to get ads, right? We haven't even gotten into the sales funnel. This is just getting set up to get ads. Pinterest.com/categories/popular, okay? When you click on that, what that's going to do is it's going to take you to all the most popular stuff on Pinterest. So what I want you to do is I want you to go into your Pinterest account. So we'll go back over to our Pinterest account here. And I want you to create a board. I want you to call this board Popular Things. You can just call it, let's see, how about Popular Stuff. You could even just say Things My Friends Like, or you can call it Popular, or you can call it Popular Things. Let's not all name it the exact same thing, because you'll see why in just a minute. Popular stuff on Pinterest. Popular stuff in my network. And it is a board of other, because it's all kinds of stuff. And we're going to create the board. So I've now created a board called Popular that has no pins. All right. Now check this out. I'm going to go to Popular on Pinterest by going to Pinterest.com/categories/popular. And I'm going to pin this. And now I get to choose the board. So I'm going to pin it to Things My Friends Like. Pinned. Okay, that's done. Now I'm going to come over here. And this is my popular board, by the way. And you'll see why. I'm going to pin this. Pin this to Things My Friends Like. That easy. You can see how easy it is to pin 15 times in a day. You literally just go to some websites that you like by going to the source of them on Pinterest and pin stuff. Things My Friends Like, pin it. Scroll down, pin this, and I'll explain to you why I need you to do this in just a moment. Things My Friends Like. And you're only ever going to pin stuff from the Pinterest popular feed. So you can go to, love quotes, because those are popular on Pinterest today. And we can pin some stuff. Pin it. Things My Friends Like. Pin it. Things My Friends Like. Okay, so we've now created a board under Be Friendly Skincare that is made up of popular stuff on Pinterest. I'm going to show you why we're doing that in just a moment. But before we do, I'd like to give you a demo. So you got to create at least 10 boards that are related to your audience, 15 to 20 pins per day total, not on every board, and don't go more than that. If you do more than 15 to, let's say, 30 pins per day max, you're overdoing it. So you really only want to do 15 to 30 pins per day between 6 p.m. and 12 a.m. Eastern. And you can use that trick of going to Pinterest.com/source/a domain that is relevant to your market and pin stuff from there. And I'll show you how we're going to do that in just a moment, because what I'm about to do is give you an example. So the first thing I did was popular, so let's now do holistic health, because holistic health is related to my market of skincare, of people who like skincare. So I'm going to create a new board, call this board Holistic Health. I'm going to say stuff that is good for the body. Okay, this board is going to be health and fitness. Create the board. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go open up a new window over here. I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to put in holistic health blog. Let's see what we found. The holisticingredient.com. So let's grab that. Let's come back over to we'll go to pinterest.com/source/theholistichealthblog.com. See what we get. All right, we got some stuff here, lots of good stuff. So pin this, pin it to Holistic Health. Super relevant to that board. Pin this, pin it to Holistic Health. So it gives us a real easy way to pin stuff that's relevant to the boards that we've created. Pin this to our board, pin this to our board. Now you don't want it all from the same domain. I'd recommend doing, 7 or 8 pins from one domain. All right, so now we're going to go back to Google. We're going to type in Holistic Health Blog. And this is all with the goal of getting us our Pinterest account faster, and it really works. This is exactly what I did to get my other Pinterest accounts. Pinterest.com/source/psychologyofeating.com. It's a new one. Just found it. All right, some good stuff here. Gonna pin this guy over to Holistic Health. And I'll pin this guy over to Holistic Health. And basically, I would rinse and repeat. Now, these guys have pinned this top 100, top 50 vegan websites, top 75. So they've got these top 75 and top 50 things being pinned and repinned all over the place. I'd wonder if they were promoting those pins. Pin this, pin it. So, all right. So now if I go back to Be Friendly Skincare. Now I have 3 boards with 32 pins. And what I would do is I would rinse and repeat. I'd do a natural beauty board, an organic food board, a yoga and movement board, a designer fashion board, because those boards are going to be relevant to my demographic, which is women who are, 25 to 55. So I've got a home board, and you'll notice on the home board I have a lot of stuff pinned from housetohome.co.uk and from housebeautiful.com. So these are the pins that I did yesterday that already got me some organic engagement. So that is how you, so those are the first things that you got to do. So we'll go back, we'll just remind you. Fill out your profile completely, create 10 boards related to your audience using the trick of pinterest.com/source/ a domain, so you can easily find really awesome pins that are going to be related to those topics, and pin 15 to 20 pins per day, which literally probably will only take you 5 minutes. However, it's just consistency that matters. The more consistent you are, the better you're going to do. And that's marketing, that's business. If you can be consistent, you can do well. So this is a good practice for you. And then I need you to create a popular board, okay? And you go to pinterest.com/categories/popular. Call it something, things my friend like, popular. Come up with a special name for it. Doesn't have to be one of those, something similar. And here's why. After your boards are created, here's what you want to do. After your boards are created and you're pinning every day, you want to go through and find your friends. So let's go back and look at that. And then this isn't why you need to create that popular board. I'm going to come back to that. So the way that you go through and find your friends is you come over here to your account, click on Find Friends, and you're going to want to connect with Facebook, find all your friends on Facebook, find your contacts in email, Yahoo, and Hotmail, and get all your friends to follow you or connect with them and follow them, because that's engagement as well, on Facebook. So make sure that you go and do that. It's not going to annoy your friends if you just invite them to Pinterest, or you follow them, you ask them to follow you, and it's going to be very, very beneficial to get you a spike in engagement on your account, which is what's going to help you get your ads account sooner. So go ahead and find your friends. Really easy to do, really simple. Pinterest will walk you through the process. And then this is all still stuff to get you set up on Pinterest. The next thing that you're going to do is post your Pinterest profile and ask your friends to follow it. So basically, remember over here where inside of our account settings, we set our Pinterest profile. So our Pinterest profile here is pinterest.com/befriendlyskin. So pinterest.com/befriendlyskin. Post that. So here's my Pinterest account now. So what I would do is I'd take this URL and I would do a post on my Facebook page that says, hey, I'm looking to get some more engagement on Pinterest. Would you please follow my Pinterest account? And I'd email that out to my friends. So it'll give you another way to get some followers on your account. Every little bit helps. I only have 100 followers on one account that got access to ads already. So it's getting down to the point where we're letting almost anyone in. You can see I have 3 followers on this Be Friendly account. We've literally done nothing. We opened it like 2 days ago. So it's not that hard to get up to that 100 follower mark. And I got in on an account that only had 100 followers on it. So this is all in the, to help you get access to Pinterest ads. Now, if you don't have a website, what if I don't have a website? Well, I recommend you're going to need a WordPress blog for this training program, for the Dipsy Doodle and Don Daliber. I recommend, actually this URL is wrong. Let me just fix this. I recommend going with Shopify. You're an e-commerce merchant. You're going to need a Shopify web store at some point. So what I'd recommend doing is purchasing a Shopify plan, setting up a standard, real simple Shopify store based on one of their themes, and then doing what I'm about to show you, which is creating a WordPress blog and putting it on the subdomain of the Shopify store. And eventually, once you're making lots of money, you'll probably come down to one of my e-commerce boot camps and get a Shopify platform built out the right way. But until then, you can have a Shopify website, done fairly well, just off of a basic theme. So I'd recommend that you get a Shopify website and then do what I'm about to show you how to do. So here's a couple tools that you can use on the Pinterest side of things. There's a tool called wisestamp.com. And what WiseStamp does is it will add a little pin. It basically gives you an email signature, and in that email signature you can put a Pinterest logo. Hey, follow me on Pinterest, so you can get some of your email people, like she has there, to follow you. One way you can get followers. There's a application called the Tailwind app. That is a paid application that allows you to schedule pins, so you can go in all at one time and schedule a bunch of pins to be pinned out on Pinterest. I think it's like $30 a month. If you don't want to pay the $30 a month, $9 a month, I guess. Maybe there's a maybe it's because we did the annual. $15 a month. So if you're not doing annual, you can schedule pins and maybe make some of it take even less time. But I'd still recommend pinning every day, and you don't need to use this app, but it is an app you can use just to save some time if you're interested in that. And then there's PicMonkey.com, which we'll talk about later when we're actually talking about making ads for Pinterest. I'm of course going to give you a bunch of templates, a bunch of ad templates, but this is a pretty cool service that allows you to make nice banner graphics pretty cheap. So it's a good service, PicMonkey.com. So let's see. Now you can also run a Pinterest giveaway contest. Just don't call it Pin It to Win It, because Pinterest very specifically in their rules about running sweepstakes says do not call it a Pin It to Win It contest. So maybe call it win something on Pinterest. I don't know, but you can't call it Pin It to Win It. And we'll be talking a little bit more about this in one of the bonus modules, but it is one way that you can get some engagement on your Pinterest account is by running a contest. So that is everything on the Pinterest side of things. What we're going to talk about, so basically we're at the spot where we don't, most people don't have access to Pinterest, which is fine because we have to build out your e-commerce sales funnel, and there's plenty of other traffic sources you can use. And that's the kind of the thing about this course is that I couldn't come up with a better analogy than the chocolate-covered carrot. Nobody liked that analogy. They thought it was gross. But it's what it means is that Pinterest is the chocolate, and the carrot is the healthy, solid, stable, consistent thing. And that is the sales funnel. That is the direct response e-commerce sales funnel. And at the end of the day, what I'm really teaching you in this course is how to set up an e-commerce direct response Dipsy Doodle sales funnel. And that's what's going to serve you in your business across all ad platforms. So while you're waiting for Pinterest, you'll be able to set this up and begin getting good at it, because this is something that nobody teaches. It's really the recipe for scale with an e-commerce business, and it's quite difficult, but it can be mastered. As you've seen in my example, it's kind of what we use in all of our businesses, and it just takes some time and energy. And if you get good at this, there's nothing that you won't be able to sell. Nothing that you won't be able to sell. So what we're going to talk about now is the sales funnel. Now, what I think actually is maybe I should take a little Q&A on the Pinterest side of things before we talk about the sales funnel. So I'm going to run through the 15 or so questions that are in here with regard to the setup on Pinterest, and then I will begin discussing the sales funnel. We have a lot of slides, and we're going to get really deep into the sales funnel right now, specifically how to write our Dipsy Doodle pages and how to manage lead pages and things like that, and what we need to set up. But first, we will run through some of these questions. How do we know if we successfully made the waiting list? Well, you should get a thank you email from Pinterest. If you didn't get a thank you email from Pinterest, a confirmation email that you are on the ads waiting list, then you might want to apply again. They've been having some problems with their email delivery system, so I would just apply again, wait a couple days, apply again. Is the lead seminar in the Smart Marketer Facebook group? I don't understand that question. Okay. My VA in the Philippines has been pinning on my USA Pinterest account. Will that disqualify me for an ads account? I don't believe it will. That should be fine. I got access to Pinterest ads. Oh, damn. Matt's got access to Pinterest ads. Sweet. My voice is breaking up. I apologize for that. Let me know if it continues to break up, and I'll maybe see if I can figure out a connection, better connection. 15 to 20 pins across 10 boards. For example, 2 pins per board. Well, you could do 2 pins per board, or you could do 15 to 20 pins on one board one day and 15 to 20 pins on another board another day. So it doesn't so much matter whether or not it's spread out across all 10 boards or whether or not it's all on one board, as long as you're getting that 15 to 20 number. The way that we're doing it is we're creating the 10 boards in one day. We're pinning 15 to 20 pins on each board the first day, and then we're rotating through our boards and dropping 15 to 20 pins on each board one at a time daily. So we're actually doing 15 to 20 on a single board, but you could spread them out. You could spread them out. Can your URL on Amazon be your verified site? No. Unfortunately, your Amazon.com domain URL for your product cannot be your verified website. Is there a name to change the, let's see, I don't know the answer to that question, Cynthia, you have to check in there. You are going so fast I cannot write the steps. Don't worry, you're going to get the recording and the slides and an action list. Can we make more than one Pinterest business page? Yes. Will you post step-by-step instructions? Actually, I'll just give you guys a little peek here. You see this right here? This thing right here? It says everything that I'm going to tell you to do tonight. Every single thing that I ask you to do is right here in that little list. So you're going to get that. So I got you covered. Why do we need a WordPress blog and a Shopify store? I'll explain that. Why not just use a blog within Shopify? The Shopify blog sucks, so you want to use WordPress on a subdomain. I love Shopify. They're not so great at they're not so great at blogging. So now that I've gone through the Pinterest questions, I feel like I'd like to continue with the training, and I'll come back and answer all of your questions at the end. I don't want to interrupt the training anymore. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't anyone who was completely lost with the Pinterest side of things. The good news is that you will get these slides, you will get an action item list, and you will get the recording of this, so you'll have plenty of time to go through it and really understand it. It's actually pretty straightforward what I've gone through so far. So now let's talk about the sales funnel, and then I will cover all your Q&A at the end of the call. So there's some things I'm going to ask you to set up, right? Some things that we need to have in place for our sales funnel. Now, we need a Dipsy Doodle pre-sale engagement page, which I'm going to teach you how to write tonight. We need a WordPress platform and the Lead Pages plugin. The reason why we need a WordPress platform is because we are using Lead Pages to host our Dipsy Doodle pre-sale engagement page. In order to have a WordPress platform, we need web hosting. We're going to need Lead Pages. Later in the module, if we're an Amazon user, we're going to be using ActiveCampaign. We're going to need Google Analytics and Facebook ads and some other stuff. Tonight, what we're going to be focusing on is our Dipsy Doodle pre-sale engagement page, along with our WordPress platform, web hosting, and Lead Pages. So those are the things that we're focusing on tonight. So the first thing that you're going to need, if you do not already have it, is Lead Pages. Please go to smartmarketer.com/L-Pages to get a Lead Pages account. And I'll explain why we need that in greater detail as we go on through the sales funnel training. So smartmarketer.com/L-Pages. You're going to thank me because this is going to help you, and I'll show you why later in this training. So the next thing we're going to need is a domain name and a hosting account. So let's talk about that. I'm going to go over to GoDaddy.com, which I'm already signed into. Where are we at? GoDaddy. All right, maybe I lost it. Oh, here it is up here. GoDaddy. Okay, so we're going to need two things. the first thing we're going to need is a domain name. Now, I would recommend, I've registered theorganicexclusive.com. I would recommend having this domain name be set up on your Shopify store, okay? Like the way that we have boombycindyjoseph.com is we have boombycindyjoseph.com, which is our Shopify store, which I'll show you. And then we have blog.boombycindyjoseph.com, which is our WordPress blog. It's on a subdomain. That's what that is when you have something and then .yourdomain.com. It's called a subdomain. We have a WordPress blog installed on that. So you're going to go into GoDaddy. You're going to buy a domain name if you don't already have one. Sign up for a Shopify account. Now, we're not going to be using the Shopify account right now. We're going to be using the WordPress side. So you have to, once you buy your domain name, it'll show up in your account. Then you have to go over here to hosting and SSL and web hosting. You will have a recording of this, and buy an economy web hosting. Okay, economy web hosting. And you'll go through that, you'll add that to your cart. Once you do that, inside of your GoDaddy account, you will have this thing here. When you just go to My Account, close this out here. When you're in your main account, under My Account, you have this thing that says Web Hosting. Okay, and you can see I have a new web hosting account. Now, when I was over at web hosting, I want to point something out. Hosting and SSL, web hosting. Don't worry, this is all going to make sense, and we'll get through this part. If you're advanced, I'm getting into the real advanced stuff shortly. If you're not advanced, then this makes sense. So when I clicked Add to Cart, I had some options here. I chose the 3-month one, and I did Linux with cPanel. Make sure that you don't choose this other option here for hosting, which is Windows with Plesk. You want to make sure you choose Linux with cPanel. You can also pay someone. I'm sure if you post in the Facebook group and say, hey, I don't know how to set up web hosting and WordPress, can someone help me? That someone will help you. So I'm going to launch. I'm going to click on Manage this new account, Manage the new account, and I'm going to open up my web hosting, and it's going to ask me to create my cPanel username and password. So I will create my cPanel username because I haven't done that yet. All right, and I'm going to set this up. So this is setting up my cPanel, all my stuff inside of GoDaddy. It's all finished, so I'm going to click Get Started. Now, I am in the back end of my cPanel. Now, this is a control panel for a hosting account. And what I want to do is scroll down and click on WordPress. Now, there's a million tutorials on how to install WordPress. I'm just going to run through it quickly, but you can get help in the Facebook group and all that kind of stuff. I actually want to install this on a subdomain of my website. Which would be a lot easier if I had already connected this website to Shopify. Because this domain name is not connected to Shopify, it's given me the root domain to install the WordPress on. But if you have your domain name connected to Shopify, then it won't do that. And you'll be able to easily install WordPress on it. So I'm not actually going to run through that. The point is that what you need is a WordPress installation on a hosting account. And what we recommend, and this is, you know, I'll shoot a video and I'll post it up there on how to do this. But you can also go to Elance. You can ask for help in the Facebook group. The ideal setup for you as an e-commerce business owner, the ideal setup is to have Shopify on your main domain name. So in this case, we'd have theorganic blog.theorganicexclusives.com, that would be Shopify. And then on blog.theorganicexclusives.com, we would have WordPress. This is what you're looking for, okay, for your website and domain name. And Shopify is going to be the e-commerce component, and what WordPress is going to do is it's going to give you the ability to build out direct response e-commerce landing pages through tools like lead pages and other things, and also connect up and do blogging and content marketing, which I can give you a free course on. But the point is that this is what you're looking for, is a main domain name that's connected to your Shopify store. Even if you don't have a Shopify store yet, you can just slap one up. Eventually, as an e-commerce retailer, you're going to want one, and then you want, on a subdomain of that, a WordPress installation. So if you have a hard time getting that set up, please post inside the Facebook group. We will also do a video on this. I wanted to run through it live, but I didn't have that domain connected to Shopify, so it wasn't going to work. So this is what you need, and we can do a video on that for you. It's really pretty straightforward. Setting up hosting and websites and all this kind of stuff is like, you could even call GoDaddy and they'd probably do it for you, but we'll help you out in the Facebook group. So a plugin that I recommend is yoast.com/WordPress/plugins/Google Analytics. It's a good plugin for your WordPress blog. So we use this plugin, and this is just so that your pages are somewhat optimized. Not that we're trying to rank these pages or anything like that, but just so that they're set up properly. Okay, so purchase a web hosting account, install WordPress, set it to be blog.yourwebsite.com. Install the Yoast SEO plugin. And as I mentioned, spending time teaching you how to set up web hosting and a WordPress account, you could literally go to YouTube and there's a million tutorials. You could hire someone in Elance. You could ask us in the Facebook group. We will do a video, but it's very, very basic and very simple, and you won't have a hard time doing it. And many of the people in our group have already done it, so you'll find a lot of support within the Facebook group. But you will need this. So if this is feeling overwhelming to you, this WordPress part, don't worry. You'll get support for that. But I don't want to go through it because there's a lot of very advanced people in this training as well who understand web hosting and websites. The next thing that you're going to do, the next asset that you need, is a Google Analytics account. So you just go to analytics.google.com and you follow their steps to sign up. Again, signing up for Google Analytics, Google wants you to use their service. They're one of the biggest companies in the world. They make it quite easy to do. So go ahead and sign up for a Google Analytics profile for your website. Now, a note is that if you are using two domains, domain.com and blog.domain.com, you will need two analytics profiles. So you're going to need an analytics profile for your main website, and you're going to need one for your blog. Now, we're really only going to be using the blog here in this training course. We're not really going to be focusing on the main domain or Shopify at all. We're really only focusing on the WordPress implementation. But the reason I want you to know this is because the ideal setup for an e-commerce merchant is Shopify as the root domain and WordPress as the blog on the domain. And so even though we're only using the blog, I want you to know that you're going to need an analytics profile for your other one anyways, so you should know that. So you're going to go ahead and set up a Google Analytics profile. Now we get into the sales funnel and the contextual traffic. So I will just keep going because I'm going to start training you on sales funnels now. Again, real quick, the assets that you need in place are a web hosting. You need lead pages, smartmarketer.com/L pages, and you need a web hosting account, and you'll understand why you need the WordPress website and things like that once we get into lead pages. And you need a Google Analytics profile. So those are the assets you're going to need for this week to complete the steps that I had for you this week. So let's talk about the contextual traffic, the sales funnel, which is really what makes all of this work. So the Dipsy Doodle and the Don Daliber. Now the Dipsy Doodle is the pre-sale engagement page, and the Don Daliber is the sales funnel. And the sales funnel could be your Shopify store, it could be your Amazon product, it could be a long-form sales page. Your Don Daliber could be many different things. So again, traffic source for this training program for PinCommerce, we're really going to be focusing on Pinterest, but we'll also dip into a couple other traffic sources because this sales funnel is extremely powerful for all traffic sources. We go to a pre-sale engagement page, has a retargeting pixel on it, then through to our sales sequence. We're not chasing down our buyers with with a sales pitch. We're not going from our ad source to a sales page. We are going from our ad source, in this case you see here as a Facebook ad, to an article, then to our sales sequence, which could be Amazon. So you need your Dipsy Doodle pre-sale page. I'm going to remind you of what I discussed on the initial training, and then I'm going to dive really deep into how to write these pages, because these pages, you guys, these are what the big companies use to scale. These are what the $100 million companies are using, and nobody talks about this stuff because for do-it-yourself e-commerce business owners, this kind of stuff is usually out of grasp because most people don't really understand advertising, direct response advertising, sales funnels, stuff like that. And so, when you look at companies like Proactive, where I'm going to be breaking down what Proactive does, they do this better than almost anyone. This is their whole model. Big companies are using this sequence, and I've been using this very successfully for many years. This is my sort of been my secret weapon in e-commerce, is this sales funnel. So types of Dipsy Doodle content, again, listicles, the one that I'm running right now, case studies, personal stories, before and after articles, instructions on how to. I'm going to be breaking down a couple formulas here, but these are the types of articles that you're going to be writing. Now, the pre-sale page needs to relate to the problem that your product solves. So, if it's a pre-sale article about recipes, and then you're not selling a cooking item, a pre-sale article about recipes, and then you're selling a beauty product, it's probably not going to work. So the pre-sale page needs to relate to the problem the product solves. Best practices, 500 to 1,000 words, 3 or more unique images, multiple calls to action, video content helps if you can do it. Incentivizing with the discount helps. We'll be showing you that later in the course. Bolds and bullets, and long-form call to action at the bottom. Now this was a reminder from the initial training call, and now we're going to dig really deep into how this works. So this is how you succeed at native advertising, you guys. So what and nobody teaches this because it's not easy, and that's a good thing, because it's going to be what separates you from them. If you can dial this in, if you can figure this out, if you actually try at this and really give it a go, you will be the most successful merchant in your category, because there's not a lot of people who really understand how to do this well and understand the power of this strategy. Nobody's teaching this because it's really high-level stuff. And usually the people who are doing this are really focusing on their businesses and just busy doing that, and they're not really in the education industry. I happen to be in both. I happen to be one of the only people who's in both, who's both a high-end direct response media buyer and also in the e-commerce education space. So one thing that you've got to know about this strategy is that you just can't give up. It might take you 5 or 10 tries on that front end Dipsy Doodle page before you get a good one. That could happen, but it's it doesn't. We've gone in certain markets where it took us 15 different articles. This was a while ago. This last, lately we've been getting a little luckier and having hits quicker than that, but you just got to really give this a shot. And I'm going to give you some great formulas. So some things to know. What we're using here is disguised content, and content is what makes this whole thing work. What I mean by disguised content is our Pinterest ad, our Facebook ad, our Google Display Network ad is disguised as content. So it's not an advertisement saying go over here and buy this thing. It's an advertisement that is content, and the content is what makes this thing works. And you succeed or fail based on the strength of your pre-sale page. You live or die based on the strength of that Dipsy Doodle pre-sale page, which is why you need to pay very close attention to what I'm about to teach you. You need to know the problem that your product is solving, because your pre-sale page is going to relate to that. And the goal here is not to make the sale. The goal is to use this page to get them in an open to buy mindset. So a mindset of like, hey, I'd be open to buying something. This is happening. These people don't even know they're going to be sold something. They're looking to engage in content. People search the internet for information. They're not searching for products, but then they get led to products through, I mean, some people are searching for products, most people are searching for information, and then they get led to products through that information. What's the underlying emotion of your user? So I'm selling skincare. The underlying emotion isn't to have nicer skin, it's because they want to attract a mate. You know, that's why you want to look better. So what do they really want? We want to keep that in mind. And what are their objections? What are they, you know, what are the things that you know, they're going to say, well, I'm not interested in this because of that. And these are just things to know. This isn't the formula yet. So what are people's main objections to your product? You're going to want to cover those. Do you have proof? If you have any proof, science, graphs, data, experts, quotes, you're going to want to use that. And personality-driven pre-sales work the best. As you'll see, all the ones we're going to break down are personality-driven. All the best ones are personality-driven. So if you can do a personality-driven pre-sale, it's going to work the best. And the goal is to hook the viewer and motivate them to click a link to the sales page. That is the entire goal of this page. Engage them, motivate them to click a link. So think about getting a friend to a surprise party, because that's really what we're doing. Our customers are our friends, and we want to introduce them to something that they're going to enjoy. So, you know, you've planned a surprise party for your friend, and you've gotten all of their friends to be at a restaurant at 9 p.m. on Saturday. And now all you have to do is get your friend to that restaurant. So you call your friend up and you say, hey man, it's been a while. You want to grab dinner on Saturday? And he says, sure, I'd love to. That sounds good. So now what you're going to do is push towards the place, right? So you say, hey, I think pizza would be good, don't you? And they're like, well, yeah, you know, pizza sounds nice. You know, pizza sounds great. And then so you say, hey, well, you know, I've been really wanting to go downtown. And they say, well, you know, downtown sounds all right. And you say, well, you know where I haven't been in a minute? Joe's. Man, that place is the cat's pajamas. I love that place. We're going to Joe's, my treat. And then you got them to the you get them to Joe's. So this is kind of an analogy for what you're doing here. You're planning a surprise party for people, and you're moving them in the direction of this. So what we're going to do now is go through a couple pre-sale formulas, and I'm going to break down the, I don't know why this is first. Let's see if we can. Okay, so the story of someone. So the story of someone is the one that we've used for Boom. So first thing we have is a compelling headline, the main image. I'm going to open up the Boom page here so that we can, now if you go to this page, you'll notice you're going to get redirected. Boom, redirected, because we're running a split test here. Now this version of the page has a call to action above the fold, but I'll just run through this version of the page, even though I got redirected from a split test. So I'll go back and forth between the slides. So compelling headline and main image. Here is our compelling headline and main image. Tips, 1 to 5 tips. Usually 5 is best. No more than 50 words or 300 characters per tip. You'll notice over here we have our tips, right? 1 to 5 tips, no more than 300 characters per tip. Okay. Then we've got a transitional quote times 2. So these 2 quotes transition us into talking about the products. So we've delivered our tips quickly. We've got our main image, our headline. We've delivered our tips quickly, and then we've got quotes that transition us into the products. Then what we have is a product pitch paragraph. So you'll notice here that we are now completely pitching the product right here in this paragraph. That's all we're doing. And then we've got problem and solution paragraphs and product placement. So the rest of this, first there's a product placement there, problem and solution paragraphs, another product placement, calls to action. So what problem and solution means is basically if you can articulate what the problem is that they're having better than they understand it, you'll be able to sell to someone. The goal here is to articulate the problem that they're facing. So your skin doesn't look very good because of these reasons, and our product fixes that. So that's what the problem solution paragraphs do. And we've got a product placement, and then we've got call to action, a video review. So this video kind of recaps everything we say in our article. You don't have to have the video, and then we've got a call to action. So that's the breakdown of this layout. I'm going to get it significantly more detailed in the third breakdown. This is just some formulas you can go by. When I break down the third pre-sale article and show you how to find pre-sale article examples, that's going to be really exciting. So that is the story of someone, and I really like this formula. Someone's story. It's great if you can get a personality-based pre-sale. Now, the before and after is also a personality pre-sale. So you got a curiosity-based hook. So like, did you know that 80% of Americans have toenail fungus? Hey, I'm Ezra, and this is my experience. This is what happened to me. When I was 45 years old, I noticed that my toenails started turning brown, and I couldn't really figure out what was going on and why that was happening. And it was really sad because I was afraid to go to the beach, and this thing happened to me. And here's why it's relevant to you, and this is where you explain the problem. Because unbeknownst to you, 80% of Americans have this problem, and the reason they have this problem is because of all the high fructose corn syrup and sugar in their diet and all the diabetes and all this stuff. So, this is a really rampant and prevalent problem, and here's all the reasons that you're having this problem, and here's all the science, and it shows that the government knows about this problem. So you're explaining the problem here. Here's what I did about it. Man, I started eating a clean diet and taking a really special thing, man, and it really helped me out and changed my life and got rid of my toenail fungus. These were my results. This is the thing that helped me. That's a really great layout that we use a lot on pre-sale pages for a before and after. And this one works really, really well, this pre-sale layout. Now, what I'm going to do now is break down for you a actual ad that Proactive is running. And I'm going to give you this right here so that you can just kind of try to rewrite it based on yours. But Proactive they're some of the best at this. All of their ads follow the same theme. I'll show you the one that I'm going to break down for you here, which is, let's see, got a bunch of them up here that I want to show you, but let's see if we can grab. Here it is. Okay, so here's this. Proactive runs, I don't know, 20 to 30 at a time. This one's been running for a long time. You'll notice it's a pre-sale article that then leads over to their sales page. And they're running these things all day long. This is their #1 advertising source, is these content articles. This one's been running for a while. So this article here, and I'll give you the URL. I'll actually put the URL into this thing that I'm going to give you here, which is the breakdown of it. Every one of their articles follows basically the same theme. So what this is, the title of the article addresses the problem that the product solves, how to get rid of blackheads with a few simple steps. The photo positions the writer as a peer of the target demographic, so in this case young women. So this is basically just some girl. They're just saying some girl wrote this. Now, I've actually read most of their articles. They're all written by the same person, so this wasn't, it's just some girl who wrote this. It's the same writer who wrote all the other ones. The tone is directed at their target demographic. It's conversational, trendy, authoritative, and sort of a cool girl is telling you a secret kind of way. The intro, what they do is they do an immediate confession hook that builds affinity. They end with a promise of something exciting to come. So that confession grabs our attention and is followed with camaraderie. The writer's setting herself up as a peer of the reader via universal experiences, moving, looking through old magazines. And in the final sentence, she tells us that she's going to tell us about something cool later on. The discovery that completely made up for the general awfulness of moving. Now here's the first sentence, confession time. Nothing makes me happy quite like a good old-fashioned magazine. And I don't mean like checking out the latest Us Weekly on iPad. I'm talking glossy relics from the days of yore. Anything with the OG supermodels on the cover. And guess what? A few weeks ago, while performing the decidedly not exciting task of packing up my apartment to move across town, I happened upon a discovery that completely made up for the general awfulness that is moving. So this is what she did in this sentence. Then she introduces the problem and hints at the solution. In this case, the writer is setting up awful skincare advice of past in contrast with the miraculous discovery that she's going to tell us about later. I didn't know it, but I was about to embark on an educational journey, one that would begin with some awful skincare advice and resulted consequences, but ultimately lead me to a discovery that I have to say is nothing short of miraculous. I'll get on to the miraculous discovery, of course, but first the awful advice. So she's hooking us. Then she explains the problem and shows how the other common solutions don't work. Here the writer uses the device of a question posed to a beauty editor in an unnamed beauty magazine on how to get rid of blackheads at home. in a 1993 letters to the beauty editor, and you can see I've kind of sorted this out. So what I've done here is I've really broken down every element of this pre-sale article so that you can really see exactly what's happening. So next thing she does, you know, she tells us that she's having the same problem. She then tells us that she tries a common solution and ended up worse off than she started out. Then she begins the quest for the real solution, which is your product. In this case, the quest for an effective acne treatment. The journey takes the writer through online research, trial and error. Then she introduces the product, and it says everything that she wrote. Then she explains the unique selling proposition to the product. Then she shares a personal experience. Then she shows some social proof. Then she talks about the money-back guarantee, and then she gives a discount. And that is exactly what they do in this article, that they are spending a ton of money advertising. So I'm going to break down a couple more really awesome winning pre-sale articles for you. But here you have one. You've got my two formulas that we use on most of our stuff. Most of our pre-sales are running off of either the story of someone or the before and after, which are these two formulas. And here is one of Proactive's best articles that they're advertising the ever-living heck out of, and it's broken down step by step for you. Because again, guys, you're going to live or die based on the success of your pre-sale campaign. And what I want to do, what I'm about to do, is show you how to do some really, really ninja research so that you can see all of the best pre-sale articles and where they're running and how they're running. I've got some websites for you to look at. Here's another pre-sale article. I'm going to show you how to find all the best goodies. Here's a bunch of pre-sale articles, right? So advice that gets rid of dark spots. I'm going to show you how to find all these so you can do some research, but I'm also breaking them down for you. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to write your own article or hire a copywriter to write your pre-sale article, and I'd recommend writing a couple of them. So before I show you the ninja research, let's make sure that everyone's still with me because I know I'm rocking and rolling here. So I'll get to your questions later at the end, but I want to keep rocking here. So before I show you how to research and find your own pre-sale examples, I want to talk to you a little bit more about the pre-sale page. So contrary to popular belief, design matters greatly on these article pages. You can't just send to some crappy page on some crappy website with no design. Like the way your pages are designed really affects the success of this campaign. It has to look natural. It has to look real. And what you've gotten with PinCommerce is access to our best pre-sale page template that we've built into lead pages for you. And you can go to smartmarketer.com/doodle to add that to your lead pages account, and you can then also go to smartmarketer.com/Daliber to get the home page. So Doodle for the pre-sale page and Daliber for the home page. And I'm going to show you how to use these right now, okay? Doodle and Daliber. Now you need to first go to smartmarketer.com/L-pages. Please go to smartmarketer.com/L-pages. I will get credit for your account, which I want. So smartmarketer.com/L-pages to get your lead pages account. And then you're going to go to smartmarketer.com/Doodle and smartmarketer.com/Daliber to add these two pages into your account. Now that's going to cost you $7 a page. I could not get these pages any cheaper inside the lead pages marketplace. It's the price that we have to pay for lead pages. So you pay your lead pages account and you pay a one-time $7 fee for each of these pages. So that's just an extra charge. Sorry about that. I'm not going to refund it. If you ask me, it's going to be more. It's going to cost me more than that to have my guys go through and refund it. So you'll have to pay that $7. So Doodle and Daliber. If you know me, you know that I'm not trying to squeeze $7 out of you. That's not my style. So that's just a lead pages rule. So smartmarketer.com/Doodle, smartmarketer.com/Daliber. Now what that's going to do is it's going to give you access to these pages inside your lead pages account. And what you'll notice, if you've never used lead pages before, we're going to be coming back here next week because we're going to have to do things like place retargeting pixel on these pages and stuff like that. But this page is very long. Now I've told you to only have 1,000, 1,000 words. So you're not going to use all of this. But the way lead pages work is, let's say, for example, you're not going to use the video. Well, you scroll over it, you find out that it's content box number 6. Come over here, you click the eyeball. Now that's gone. So you can only use the elements that you want, but I've made it really long so that you have the option to use as many or as little of the elements on this page as you'd like. Like, let's say, for example, you only wanted the 5 tips, which you have here, and then the bullet points down the bottom and the call to action. You could just have that inside your lead pages account. We've got a logo here, so you're going to want to put a logo. You're going to want to make sure that logo is 300 pixels wide. I'd recommend making it short in height. Make sure you've got a phone number up there. If you don't want to have a phone number, you can delete that just by going delete top right section. Now you don't have a phone number. I recommend having a phone number because it makes you look a little more legit. These links here can link to, you might want to have one say home and link to the home page, which we'll talk about in a moment. Beauty, and this can just be other articles, about us, contact us, privacy policy. You can put those links up there. But you're going to have 4 or 5 Dipsy Doodle articles written, so I recommend linking to other articles up here in the top so it looks natural. The way that lead pages works, I'll go through and do a full demo, but basically anything can be a link. You just select it and you click this little link button here, and then you can link out to your Amazon product or wherever you're going to. You could also easily integrate opt-in boxes by saying show an opt-in form, clicking done, and now that's going to show whatever opt-in form you set up on this page. And I'm going to show you how to add an opt-in form later in the oh no, sorry, someone's at my door. But my wife will handle that. When we talk about using this Dipsy Doodle page to collect leads before sending people to our thank you page. Now let's scroll down to the bottom. This is all the content here. Let's scroll down to the bottom where we see that we have our social icons. So we're going to want to link those up to all of our social properties. These links, we want to make sure that we have a privacy policy. If you are unsure, you can just Google, privacy policy example. Put that in here. These can also link to other articles. You can also get rid of them pretty easily just by, clicking that little button. Or if you just want to get rid of some of them, you can just get rid of some of them, right? Just by getting rid of these like that. So it's very, very editable. One thing that you want to do is down here you want to say this page is an advertisement. You want to make sure that you have that on the page for legal reasons, and that you have a privacy policy. That's the Dipsy Doodle pre-sale page that you will be able to build out your page in once you have it written. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to do a build next week of a full page here, and I'm going to add all the pixels and things like that, so that this is just kind of showing you the ins and outs of it. Now, this page is our home page. Now, what this is designed to do is make you look legit. So if you don't have a WordPress blog, if you don't have a Shopify store, but you want to run this to your Amazon product, now you have a really beautiful home page that you can link to the home button. So when someone clicks home, it actually looks like you're a real blog. And this is basically just an image. It's a list of links, same headline. You can put some content here. And these recent stories, you don't even actually have to have anything here. You could just have, an example image and some content. I recommend having 4 or 5 articles written, 4 or 5 Dipsy Doodle pre-sale articles, or just articles in general about, you could pay, I'm going to hook you up with an article writer who I use later in the call, and you can pay them to write some articles that you can link to from this page. Over here on the right-hand side, we have 3 banners. So these banners, it'll tell you the sizes of them, 277 pixels wide, 277 pixels wide. And you can actually, these will be in your account. You can actually download these by selecting them and just dragging them to your desktop, and you can see the exact size and width of them, because these banners will be in your Lead Pages account once you purchase this template. And this will give you a beautiful looking home page. And once you publish a lead page, so if I were to name this, Testerson, say Jefferson, Jeff. So if I were to name that, click done and click publish. First I got to save it. So let me save this. And I will then click publish on this page, which is going to publish. I just want to show you something. So now I have okay, publish. All right, so here we go. So now I have smartmarketer.leadpages.net/Testerson, and here is my Dipsy Doodle pre-sale page, or sorry, Dipsy Doodle article homepage that is published, looking beautiful. Now you'll notice that when I come back over here, there's this thing that says WordPress, and it says download the Lead Pages WordPress plugin. This is why I want you to have a WordPress blog, because I actually want you to host this page on your own domain. I think that's better than just running traffic to the Lead Pages URL for a number of reasons. As far as Facebook compliance goes and Pinterest compliance, it's much better to host this on your own domain name. So that's why I want you to have WordPress, so that you can download the Lead Pages WordPress plugin and install that on your WordPress account, and then you can very easily add this to your WordPress account. And I'll post the tutorials that Lead Pages has. They have very detailed tutorials on how to do that. It's really simple, but that'll give you the ability to publish these beautiful pages to your WordPress blog. And these pages alone, I mean, if we were going to do design and development on these pages, we would charge about $1,500 to design them and $1,500 to develop them each when we had a design and development agency. So that would be like $3,000 to have these pages designed onto your WordPress blog. We've now built them into Lead Pages for you, so you can modify them and edit them and manipulate them and add your code and tags and replicate. So for example, let's say you want to do a contact page, right? Well, what you do is you'd create a new page. You have this template in your account now, right? So you have this template, and you go to Marketplace. You'll then have the Dipsy Doodle pre-sale article homepage, or article pre-sale page. Click on that, count me in, and you're going to create a new page, and you're going to call this page. This way, all of your pages are congruent. So what I'm talking about right now is creating your Dipsy Doodle pages, creating your Dipsy Doodle homepage. Let's say you want to have a contact page on here. We just open up a new page, call it contact, right? Click done. Get rid of all this content, just delete all these elements, get rid of all the elements except for one little blurb, and have it say, hey, you know, contact us for questions. Put in your contact information, publish the page, and then go back to your Dipsy Doodle home page and your Dipsy Doodle article page, and come over here and link this contact to that page that you've created. So basically you have now an entire website of pages. You just keep replicating the page inside of Lead Pages, putting new content on it, and you can build out an entire blog and that we're using for direct response advertising. This blog is not to be used to post content for your web visitors, to get comments or anything like that. This is a blog that we're creating specifically with the goal of doing direct response advertising. With these two page templates, I've given you everything you need for a full WordPress blog, and WordPress blog for direct response advertising. And what I will do is I will create a contact page, an about page, a privacy policy page, a Dipsy Doodle pre-sale article page, and a home page so that I can show you, and I'll put it on theorganicexclusives.com. I'll actually put WordPress on that. I'll set it all up so that you can see a full example of what I'm talking about, a fully done advertising website completely built with these page templates inside of Lead Pages. So just these page templates alone are worth significantly more than what you paid into PinCommerce. This is our best converting pre-sale page template at the moment. And as I mentioned, if you get one pre-sale page to work, that is worth 7 figures to you. We will make 7 figures this year on that one boom pre-sale article. So if you get one good Dipsy Doodle article working, then it's going to be very, very good for you. And now you have the design and development ability through these Lead Pages templates to be able to pull that off with something that's been tested with hundreds of thousands of dollars of ad spend. So it really is a pretty sweet deal. Okay, so I did want to show you those. Let's see what we got next. Now let's talk about how to find examples of content that is running. So the HuffingtonPost.com is a really great one. If you just go to HuffingtonPost.com, I'm going to show you a bunch of ways to find blogs. But the first thing that you need to know is that I'll just go to, let's say, healthy living, and maybe you know, what's an over-the-counter sleep drug anyways. So I'll click on an article here, and what you'll notice is that they have this thing over here that says from our partners, right? That's one thing they have. Then they've got suggested for you down the right-hand sidebar, and then they've got stuff you might like. See if they've got anything else down the bottom. No, that's it. So under stuff you might like. Now what this is this is content recommended by content recommendation engines. This one is recommended by Gravity. So here we can see advice on how to get rid of your dark spots. So if I click this, what I'm going to is a Dipsy Doodle pre-sale page that this person is running. This is a Dipsy Doodle pre-sale page here that says a surgeon's secret to getting rid of dark spots for brighter and clearer skin. Now if I scroll down, I'm willing to bet, here it is, here's the offer, that it goes to, it's a nice and short page, nice little video on it, good little sidebar to look legit. And let's see if they've got statements on this website are not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure, privacy policy, terms and conditions. They got everything. See this? Sponsored content. Boom. So they're telling you it's an advertisement. So everything that I've showed you on my page, these guys have. Now their page is a little uglier, but they're running it and they're driving ads to it. Looks like it might be working for them. So let's click over and see their, so this is their Dipsy Doodle page here. Let's look at their Don Daliber. And looks like they're going to a video sales letter, which isn't even playing on my Safari, that has some bullet points underneath it and then a call to action. And they're trying to opt me in. So their goal is to get an opt-in, or you can skip this step and go directly to their sales page, I imagine. And here's their sales page. So they were trying to get an opt-in before they took us to the sales page. But this is the exact sales funnel I'm talking about here. And they're selling these things for $49. They're going straight to a $49.99 bottle. And they're saying try it now, but you're paying $59.99. Try it now. Now we're going to go to their order form, which they're using one shopping cart. These people are using one shopping cart, I can tell, mcssl.com. So that's an entire Dipsy Doodle and Don Daliber sales funnel that I just discovered, that I've actually seen running because I've watched these things through HuffingtonPost.com. So there's one way you can do it. Now, if I close this one down, here's the proactive one, popdust.com. Proactive runs all crazy on popdust.com, but also on popdust.com, we've got a whole bunch of other stuff that runs. Here is PerezHilton.com. Also, we recommend now promoted links by Taboola. So here's what you need to know, that the two big engines for promoted content are Outbrain and Taboola. Outbrain and Taboola. Those are the biggest ones that promote most of the content. And so promoted by Taboola, these guys have most of the traffic in the content amplification space. And so here's some articles. Now I want to show you some ways that you can find blogs. You can go to Perez Hilton. You can go to perfectvacation.co is another great one to look at, perfectvacation.co. If I click on any one of these articles, like let's look at top 10 wildest spring breaks, what's going to happen is I'm going to see a whole lot of sponsored content. So for example, let's take a look at one of these things. Odd tricks to stop erectile dysfunction, sponsored by Rev Content. Rev Content is one of the smaller content amplification engines. Let's take a look at the odd tricks to stop erectile dysfunction. See if they're into a pre-sale page. I bet they are. And here we are. This is like the most spammy pre-sale page in the world. It says advertisement at the top, but it looks like a news website, even though it's not a news website. So you don't really want to try to make yours look like a news website. But here's their pre-sale page. Now when you click through, I bet you go to a video sales letter. A lot of people, there it is, video sales letter. Boom. And then they've got an add to cart button, which they're actually just running to a ClickBank product. So, this is a Dipsy Doodle to a Don Daliber, and their Don Daliber is a video sales letter. So let's talk about this. Now you understand how to look and find some of these things. I've given you some URLs, but I want to show you how to find these URLs so that you can find some Dipsy Doodles that are relevant to you. Now let's just look at this last one. Mom is 53, looks younger than 27. Another 70-year-old grandma looks 40 again. And this is actually a Dipsy Doodle combined with a Don Daliber, because this page actually is straight up saying buy this product, kind of the way we're doing with Boom, where we're showing the product on the page and they're doing a free plus shipping. So this is going to a free plus shipping trial offer. This is their non-Baliber, is, you know, get it free, and then they rebuild the crap out of you, I'm sure. This is their long form sales page. The beautiful thing is that your Dipsy Doodle is likely going to go to Amazon. And again, you notice that they have this as an advertisement right at the top, even though they try to make it look not like an advertisement. We put that down at the bottom because we're not this aggressive. This is just way too aggressive, and people can smell this a mile away. So I like to do a little bit less stuff. So okay, let's talk about how you can find some of these blogs, okay? How can you find some of these blogs? Well, one of the best ways is to use the Google Display Planner. So if you go to Google and you type in Display Planner, now keep in mind you must have a Google AdWords account, and I want to make sure that I covered that here. Okay, I guess I didn't, but you need to sign up for a Google AdWords account because we're going to be using Google AdWords later in the course. So sign up for a Google AdWords account if you don't already have one. You can go to adwords.google.com for that. And once you sign up for a Google AdWords account, put in your information, create your AdWords account, you will then be able to access this thing, which is called the Display Planner. So if you go to Google, you type in Display Planner, it's going to pull up this thing that says Display Planner. You click on it, and this is a way to find blogs that run Google Ads. But blogs that run Google Ads also run ads for other websites. So I'll just put in something like makeup, and I will click on Get Placement Ideas. Get Placement Ideas. And now what that's going to do is it's going to return a list of blogs. Take a moment. Blogs that are relevant to makeup. So here's all these blogs. All these blogs. And I'll bet you that some of these blogs run content from Taboola or Outbrain. Let's take a look at the Budget Beauty blog. Budget Beauty blog. Click on that. And we'll just hop into one of their posts here. Scroll on down. All right, looks like they're just running the Google Display Network ads on this site, so there's not actually Outbrain or Taboola on this website. May have to check a couple before you find one. Let's take a look at maybe Candide.com. Maybe she's got some. This is how I find all my best ones. I just take a look at the Display Planner, see what's running. You'll also notice these now that you're looking at them. Here we go. You might also like, so she's running content amplification from Link Within. Another thing that you could do if you were really desperate, you see how it says recommended by Outbrain? Here's another website, totalbeauty.com, shows some. How to get rid of blackheads without picking your face. If I click on that, I'm guessing that's going to go to that Pop Dust article. So this is, there it is. This is the one we broke down. This is an example of Proactive actually running it. 8 shocking, let's see, new must-take antioxidant for incredible skin. Let's click that, see what that goes to. And it's going to a Dipsy Doodle. And then scroll on down. We're going to have the Don Daliber is their recommendation for the product, which in this case is just straight to an e-commerce store. So that's a nice example of a Dipsy Doodle that's rolling straight to an e-commerce store from promoted content. So if you're really desperate, you can go to Google. This is recommended by Outbrain. You can go to Google and you can just put in quotes, recommended by Outbrain. Make sure I didn't spell that wrong. Close that. Close that. Just want to get rid of some of these. I did spell that wrong, so I put 2 C's in recommended. All right, and now I'll probably have to scroll for a while, but here we go. Scroll down. All right, homeaway.com. See if homeaway.com has some stuff recommended by Outbrain. Let's click one of these. And if we scroll, here we go. Nope. You can usually find some blogs this way. Popist.com, let's check them out. Okay, this one's definitely going to work. Okay, here we go. Promoted stories, down at the bottom, recommended by Outbrain. So I found a blog that Outbrain was running on just by Googling that. You can do the same thing with Taboola. So there's a blog called Ladies Life that we're running on, ladieslife.com. They do a lot of Taboola advertising. So if I click on, let's say, our article that's posted there, and I can see here all the Taboola advertisements, more Dipsy Doodles. Okay, 87-year-old trainer shares her secret to losing weight. I click on that, and we've got a pre-sale page, 87-year-old trainer, pre-sale article. Scroll down, and it's going to click through to a discount to their offer, I'll bet you, and there it is. So we can also do the same thing where we see where it says down here, sponsored links by Taboola. So if you do the same thing where you come over, you go to Google and you put in sponsored links by Taboola, paste that in there, and now you'll be able to go through a couple, and you can find websites that Taboola is running on. Another way to find examples is to use alltop.com. So that's alltop.com, and I will open up the keynote. This is to find you Dipsy Doodle articles, because guys, this is what the big dogs are doing. You'll notice all of the big brands, all of the big companies are running amplified content. And that's what I'm teaching you in this course. I'm teaching you Pinterest ads because Pinterest ads gets you right now the absolute by far best quality of traffic for your amplified content. But I'm teaching you the best sales letter, the best sales format to use to promote your products, which is amplified content. And I've given you a really great breakdown of Proactive's article they're running right now. I've given you my 2 formulas and access to my article. And I'm also teaching you how to find other articles for you to model, and I'm going to give you a copywriter resource as well. Alltop is the last source I'll give you to find blogs. So let's just go to alltop.com. And what it is, it's all the best blogs out there. It's basically all the blogs. So if I wanted to do, let's say, kitchen was what my product was in kitchen stuff. So I could go to kitchen. I could say maybe baking. See the best baking blogs. And let's see, maybe we want to try, the Technicolor kitchen blog. Click on one of their posts. See if they're running content on this blog. So it's the Technicolor kitchen. Doesn't look like they're running any particular content, so not them. You may have to search around a while. We'll take a look at Recipe Girl, see what she's running. Bet you Recipe Girl's running some stuff. Articles. All right, maybe she's not running anything. She's just running banners. But you get the point of how to find these things. So I'll get to your questions now. We've been on for almost 2 hours. Again, this can go straight to Amazon. We'll be talking about how to set that up specifically on the next call. Here's an example of a Facebook ad. We'll be talking about how to run Facebook's through the funnel, as well as Google. We're crushing it with Google with the same funnel. I'm also going to teach you a little bit about that ad platform. Even though this course isn't about those ad platforms, I'd like to introduce you to them, because if you get a good pre-sale article, as you can see with the one that we're sharing with Boom, it can be advertised on every network. So now we're going to do Q&A. So I have created this little document for you here, this one where I broke down this Proactive article that I'll give you, so you can look at that. I've also created this document which says the things you need to do: fill out your profile completely, create at least 10 boards and pin them every day, 6 to 12 p.m., create a popular board, post it to the Facebook group, find your friends on Pinterest, post your Pinterest profile, and ask your Facebook friends to follow you, get a Shopify website, get lead pages, get a domain name, install WordPress on that, write a few versions of your Dipsy Doodle page, refer to the video recording on PinCommerce for instructions, get your Dipsy Doodle pre-sale page, your Dipsy Doodle article homepage, sign up for Google Analytics, sign up for Google AdWords, sign up for Facebook ads. Those are all the action items from week 1. And what I'll do now, and I know this feels like a lot and it feels overwhelming, but this is you're playing with the big dogs now. You know, you're in the kitchen, you're cooking with the celebrity chefs. This is like the real deal. This is even more advanced than what I teach people to do. I teach them to go after Amazon and go over to Shopify and build out their e-commerce store. And I still recommend you do that, but this is a technique that you can use to even promote your Amazon products significantly better and use outside traffic to sell your Amazon products at near full price or full price. You do it at 30% off. We'll be talking about that. But this is like this is sort of a level of understanding e-commerce and sales funnels and direct response marketing that most e-commerce business owners never get to. So if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like this is big and your head's spinning, that's okay, because this is big. I've been in this game 10 years, and only in the last couple years are we really dialing this in. So that's why, that's why it feels big. So we'll now dig into the questions, and I will answer all of your questions. All right. Okay, Cynthia says, as long as we have either Shopify or WordPress, either one will work, or do we need both? Well, for the purpose of your article pre-sale page, which is going to be used with the lead pages template, you're going to need WordPress for that. Lead pages does not integrate with Shopify. You must have a WordPress website in order to make that work. And the reason why I'm suggesting that you go ahead and get Shopify is because the best setup for an e-commerce business owner is to have the Shopify on the root domain and WordPress on a subdomain. So that's why I'm saying go ahead and get your Shopify store. So you need it at some point. Do I need to switch from a regular Pinterest account to a business account? Yes, you do. Go to ads.pinterest.com and sign up apply for Pinterest ads, and they will send you a link to convert. You can also Google convert my Pinterest account to business. You can answer a lot of questions by Googling, guys, and then you can read this thing, how to convert your, you can go through and convert your account. Seems too steep a gradient to understand properly. I disagree. I think it's actually pretty straightforward stuff, and it's just it's big new concepts if you're new to e-commerce, but it's actually quite straightforward. The 10 boards are targeting your audience, not the product. Yes, the 10 boards that you create are targeting your audience and not your product. It's about who would be buying your product. That's what the boards are related to. You're just fast. I'll watch again. Look, I had 2 hours. If I hadn't done it fast, it would have been wasted another hour of your time. So it's better that I move quickly and get through it all so that you can have the most time to go back and study it. So that's why I move quickly, because I've got a lot to teach you, and I also know that you've got all the recordings and stuff to take advantage of. Should we set up 2 accounts if we have 2 very different niches? Yes, absolutely. I'd recommend having a separate account for each niche, although you can advertise from one or the other at the moment. So why not try to get access to 2 accounts? I have 2 accounts right now. I'm going for a 3rd. How do I verify my website? That's covered in it depends on the kind of website you have, but basically when you are in your account settings, when you go to business.pinterest.com, so if I come over here and I go to tips for your business, there's going to be a little thing here. So basically what I did was I clicked down on this drop down, I clicked on tips for your business, and there would be a little button here that says verify your website. When you click it, it pops up a little verification tag that you have to put on your website. So you can go ahead and post inside the Facebook group and say, hey, I have this kind of website, I have a Shopify website, or I have a GoDaddy website, how do I verify? And we can help you out there, but it's really, really simple. You just place a tag on your website. I have a US-based Amazon business, but I live in Australia. Does that qualify me for promoted pins? Unfortunately, it doesn't, because your IP address is in Australia. You can still apply. People overseas are getting access, from what I understand. They're just not able to run with credit cards. So I would still do everything and apply. Perfectly fine for verified website to be just a WordPress price, not on a Shopify domain. Yes, you could use your WordPress website and verify that. Absolutely. This is fun, great training. I'm excited to get rolling. Thanks, Carolyn. Do we get a discount on lead pages using your affiliate link? Unfortunately, you don't get a discount on lead pages using my affiliate link. I think it's only $37 a month, though. What if we already have a website and should we already have a domain name and web hosting, right? If we already have a website, should we already have a domain name and web hosting? If you have a website and it's hosted on WordPress, then yes, you're all set. But if you don't have WordPress on your website, if you're using Shopify, for example, you still need to buy that hosting account, install WordPress on that hosting account, and connect it to a subdomain of your website. And we can talk more about how to do that in the Facebook group if you guys are confused about how to set up a WordPress website. Should I go niche specific on this, or will my social discount market website be fine? Not exactly sure what you're asking there, Matt. I bought a domain name from Shopify. Do I purchase another domain from GoDaddy? No. You only need one domain name. From GoDaddy, what you're going to purchase is a hosting account. You're going to purchase a hosting account, and you're going to install WordPress on that hosting account, and then you're going to go into that domain name and point a subdomain of that domain name to that WordPress account, so that when you go to blog.yourdomain.com, it brings up the WordPress website. And we'll do a training on that, because I have a feeling that there's a lot of you guys who have only ever sold on Amazon and don't really know anything about how to do websites, so we'll show you how to do that. Is the organicexclusive.com site a subdomain? Nope, organicexclusive.com is the root domain, but we just don't have anything on it, so we're going to put it onto a subdomain. You'll see once we get it set up. What if you already have a website and a shopping cart? Well, if you already have a website and a shopping cart, if it's a WordPress website, then it will work for lead pages. If it's not a WordPress website, then you're going to need to get WordPress set up so that you can use lead pages. What if we already started a blog through a website such as Weebly? Is it better to transfer to WordPress or leave it as is? Well, Weebly won't work for lead pages, so it's better to get yourself going on WordPress, especially because you're going to want the robustness of WordPress eventually. If we already are okay to run Pinterest ads, should we create a post? No, you don't need to do that if you already have Pinterest ads. What if I already have a domain name on WordPress and sell on Amazon, so I don't have a store? How would I set up my store after the fact? Well, if you're already using WordPress and you're linking over to Amazon, then you're good to go as far as lead pages go. What you would do is you would just create a subdomain called store.mywebsite.com, and you would point Shopify to that subdomain. So you'd have the reverse, where what we have is boombycindyjoseph.com is Shopify and blog.boombycindyjoseph.com is WordPress. You would have, boombycindyjoseph.com as WordPress and store.boombycindyjoseph.com as Shopify. So you just put the Shopify on the subdomain. That's okay. All right. Would the Dipsy Doodle work for something boring like a silicone baking sheet? Absolutely. The Dipsy Doodle works for everything, dude. It's like the #1 way to sell things to people, because you're engaging them in a story before you're moving them on to trying to sell them something. You're getting their attention and engagement and participation and desire built up before you move to a sales page. So yes, it would work for a baking mat. Who reads so much information? I'm talking about the pre-sale page. Buyers, dude. Who reads so much information is everyone who's buying billions of dollars worth of stuff online. I read a whole bunch of stuff before I buy. This is different than traditional direct response advertising. We're trying to take people, from traditional query-based advertising. If you're just selling on Amazon, you're used to people who are already ready to buy, who searched for silicone baking mat. You just showed them a silicone baking mat. What I'm trying to show you is how to go beyond that, how to get access to all the people who aren't on Amazon. And the way that you have to do that is by having a sales funnel. So that's why I'm teaching you that. Can we get your PDF of the Proactive Black Hat article where you break it down? Absolutely. I'm going to give that to you along with more. I'm going to do more breakdowns of pre-sale pages because I feel like that's really the part that people have a hard time understanding, so that's not even going to be the only one I'm going to give you guys. Do you give Shopify support or training? No, this is not a Shopify course. This is not a course on how to build a Shopify store. Shopify support or training is given through Shopify. They're incredible at it. I mean, if you just go to shopify.com and you sign up and you call them and you go through their help, I mean, they have probably the best support of any website building platform out there. They've really got great documentation, great support, answers to all the questions. You just really got to sit down and give it a shot and ask questions in the Facebook group and ask questions of Shopify and GoDaddy. It's not very difficult. The stuff I told you to do, setting up a domain name and installing WordPress and getting Shopify set up and subdomains, it's all like super duper basic website stuff that just Googling on YouTube, you could find all the answers you need. So you don't have to feel overwhelmed by that stuff because it's really not that hard. And I don't provide Shopify support because this isn't a course on Shopify. It's an asset that you need. And actually, you don't even need Shopify for this course. What you need is the WordPress component. I'm just telling you to go get a Shopify store because I want you to have the proper setup for your e-commerce business, which is a Shopify store and a WordPress blog. I have an alternative product to Lead Pages. Can I use it, or do I still have to get a Lead Pages account? Well, if you have an alternative product to Lead Pages, what you can use is the HTML version of the page. We're having these pages also coded onto HTML so that if you don't have WordPress and you don't have Lead Pages and you don't want to get them and you just want to put these pages straight on HTML on a website, that you'll be able to do that. But no, we do not have them built into any other platform. We use Lead Pages because Clay Collins is a good friend of mine, and I've been using Lead Pages from the beginning, and I really love the service. Haven't really tried any of the other services out there. I know there's a lot of competitors now, but I'm sort of a Lead Pages diehard, and I'll always be with those guys. If we already have a functional website, what's the best way to set up the Shopify site? You just put the Shopify website on the subdomain store.yourcurrent domain.com, although you don't actually need a Shopify website for this training. If you're just doing Dipsy Doodle over to Amazon, then you don't even need it. Are we allowed to use the images in the Doodle Daliber templates for our own? No, you can't use my images. Also, they wouldn't make sense. These images, I mean, how are you going to use these images? How is Cindy's face and my products going to make sense for you? And also over here, how are my products and how is this stuff going to make sense? These images, this one, this one, this one, and this one are just stock photos, so I guess you could use those if you wanted, but I don't know why you would want that. Just create your own. Should we create blog-specific pages for contact and privacy, or can we link from our Shopify website? You can just link to the ones you already have if you already have those. Don't you already have a contact and about page on your Shopify website? Yeah, I mean, look, man, a lot of people don't have this stuff, right? You guys are ahead of the game, and you already have that, so that's why you don't need to recreate it, but some people don't. For clarity, is it better that your blog domain is different than your company domain to make it look impartial? No. In fact, I don't recommend doing like a, theorganicexclusive.com and then leading over to your blog or your Shopify website. I really like putting my blog articles on my Shopify domains. You'll notice why I run all of my Boom pages and all my other pre-sale pages on my Boom website and my other websites. However, in this case, I'm giving you the example of if you're going to Amazon, which I know many of you are. So if you're going to Amazon, then you need a blog so that you can put these articles on it, and it's going to lead over to Amazon. But it doesn't make any difference really. If you do it on a separate domain to try to make it look impartial, that could, you could try that. We don't even do it. We don't even try that anymore. We just go straight over to, we just put it on our website and go to our website, and we like that better. But your call. Cynthia is very confused about the Dipsy Doodle. The Dipsy Doodle is my special name for the article pre-sale page, this page right here that engages someone in a story and alludes to a solution that is my product, is the Dipsy Doodle. I'm calling that a Dipsy Doodle. That's my name. I like to name my funnels, make things a little more fun, and this funnel is the Dipsy Doodle, and this page is actually the Dipsy Doodle page. Can we use Clicky? I don't even know what Clicky is. Do I need a Wapify if I already have a WordPress website and Amazon page? Nope, you don't. I recommend having it, but you don't need it. Yes, you could add these pages to your existing WordPress website. You don't need to create a new one. Bojana said this is the most complete course she's ever been through. Thanks so much, Bojana. Is my advertorial website where I host my sales page different than my brand website? Doesn't have to be. If you have your brand website that has a WordPress blog on it, you can slap up this this article on it. Pinterest business links to Facebook. Looks like it links to my personal account, not my business account. Yep, that's fine. You're just looking to get yourself some followers that way. What are the biggest niches to research? Health and beauty, and health, beauty, and investments. Make money. Those are some of the better ones. Dating is really great. Are good to research. Does the sales funnel work with low price and high price? Yes. It works great with all products if done properly. You can see guys are running it to $39 ClickBank articles. Proactive's running it to a $29 thing. Some guys are running it to $10 stuff, little widgets and things like that. Has the pre-sale page been tested on a male audience? Yes. It's mostly used on male audiences actually for like penis enhancement pills and investment stuff. So it's used a lot on male audiences. In fact, the pre-sale concept of sending someone to a piece of content is the oldest strategy in the book, really. I mean, it's really not anything special or new. We've just kind of revamped it for e-commerce, but it's been around forever. Thanks for a great webinar. You're welcome. The most basic lead pages account is enough. Eric, did you have a chance to speak with your rep? I did speak with my rep. He said at the moment it's not available. For international, they just haven't gotten that far. They're still working on the self-serve platform for the USA. They don't have a timeline, but they do recommend that you keep active on your account so that when they do roll it out, you're the first in line. How many Pinterest business pages are we allowed? You're allowed as many as you want, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know why you would want, I don't know how many businesses you have, so I would create one for each business. Can we break up our products into categories? Yes, you can. If I pin my original recipes from my blog, do I pin a blog post? Yes, you would pin your blog post, and you would have a board that was pins from my blog, my blog post board. I don't have a blog post. Should I arbitrage something? You could do it. You could do this as an affiliate. A lot of people do this as an affiliate. A lot of people use this strategy to promote ClickBank products as an affiliate. So you could do that. If you switch over to a business account, it won't wipe out your current structure as far as I know. I know when we switched to a business account, our structure remained the same, so I don't think it's going to delete your current business account. What's your aim on Facebook suppressing lead pages? Facebook is not suppressing lead pages. Facebook doesn't care if you're using lead pages. Facebook doesn't really want you to run to the lead pages domain sometimes. What I mean by that is when you click publish, here let's go to one that's published. When you click publish, so if you just use this URL that lead pages gives you, then you can't really run from Facebook to that because a lot of people run to spammy crap that's on the leadpages.net domain. So that's why you have to actually put it on your URL. Once it's on your URL, you're fine. It's about the leadpages.net domain. Can we use two Shopify stores with one blog? Sure, you could have store.myblog.com and store2.myblog.com. I don't know why you'd want that, but you could. Why do we use a WordPress blog instead of using the landing page creator? Well, you are using the landing page creator, and then you're using WordPress to install it on your own domain name so that you could also download an HTML and upload it. That's another way to go. Any thoughts on doing a Shopify bootcamp in Australia? To fly my entire team down to Australia and put on a bootcamp would cost us about 50 grand, we figured, by the time you were done with all the plane tickets and all that kind of stuff. And I just don't think there's enough interest in Australia. I think there's like 8 people who want to do it that we know of. So I think that until we got 20, 25 people, it wouldn't be worth our while to make that trip. Because you got to think, man, it's like a full day there. So it's a day to prepare to travel, a day of traveling, a day to come down from travel, 3 days to run the event, a day to travel home, a day to come down from traveling. So we're talking about sort of, 8 days of our time, of my whole team away from their family. So I think that it would have to be a lot of people for that to make sense. A lot of people are happy with the content. Where will you post a to-do list? I'll post that inside of the Facebook group for now. June made a good point that we're getting a 2% front-end conversion rate, but we have a 3 or 4 time reorder rate on our products. So we actually are making money, because even if we're just breaking even on the ads, which we're not, we're making a lot of profit on the ads, we also get more customers over time. I'm going to read this out loud, Patrick, because it's a testimonial. He says, no need to read this out loud, but wow, this is really good stuff. The lead pages templates alone are worth the cost of the course. I can't wait to get into the meat of all of it. Thanks so much, Patrick. I really appreciate that. I work really hard to make sure this stuff is like the best stuff you can get out there. And I pride myself in having what I consider to be the most usable and actionable training on e-commerce, Amazon, direct response, the stuff that we do in our business. And so appreciate you saying that. Great stuff, Ezra, super valuable. Thank you, I appreciate it. What is the color of your Ferrari? I always think it's kind of dumb to buy a Ferrari. I mean, I know that's sort of mean to say, but it's like, I mean, really, 400 grand or whatever it is, like you could feed a whole nation, like do you really need a $400,000 car? So I don't know, maybe my mind will change at some point on the whole buying of several $100,000 cars, but at the moment I kind of feel like my car, I have a very nice car, by the way. I have an Audi Q5, a 2015 Audi Q5. It's a luxury vehicle. It's a very nice vehicle. It's beautiful, and it's like, sort of the most I think I would spend on a car. I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. I feel like I have better things that I want to do with my money. But then again, I'm also not a super crazy car enthusiast. I'm really like I spent 15. I will give you a little bit of insight. I spent $1,500 on an electric skateboard. So I'm talking crap about the Ferrari owners, but then I went and bought a $1,500 electric skateboard. So maybe I'm a hypocrite. I don't know. So Ashley really needs help setting up the WordPress and all that stuff. Okay, Ashley, we'll do a training on that. I want you guys to know how to do that. Week 1 has exceeded my expectations. Unfortunately, I'm not in the U.S. I'm kind of bummed, but I'm blown away. Thank you. Are you going to go through what goes into a good pin creative? Absolutely. We haven't even talked about advertising yet. That's next week. Have you noticed that running ads through this funnel to your Amazon product versus Amazon's internal ads is equally or more beneficial? You can't really use Amazon's internal ads for this. It doesn't work. Amazon has one internal ads platform that you can use to send traffic outside, and you can't get a whole lot of traffic. So Amazon internal ads are incredible because you're getting people inside of Amazon searching for your product. This is really for getting people to your Amazon product from outside of Amazon. So Eric is just giving me a little shout out. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate that. I've had Facebook block links to articles on my website. If your domain name has been banned from Facebook for spammy stuff, and you got to start over with a new domain name, you can't unblock a domain with Facebook. Fly us 8 Australians to the USA. It'll be cheaper for you. If you got a bunch of Australians who want to come out here to one of my boot camps, I know Ben Cleary, Ben Cleary, who's actually in this training. I don't know if he's here right now. Was looking at putting together a group. We may be able to do some kind of a discount, a little tiny discount or whatever, but it's quite expensive for us to put these events on, and so I don't know if I can fly you to the USA, but we can talk about it. If you really want to come, shoot me an email, we'll discuss. Let's see. For the product people only buy once, would the Dipsy Doodle still work? Yeah. smartmarketer.com/Pinterest ads case study. This is a Dipsy Doodle article that was designed to engage you about something that you were interested in and move you over to a solution, which was my training program, my workshop on PinCommerce. And this is what I use. I use the Dipsy Doodle and the Don Daliber to sell this product. And the reason I did that was because I wanted you to, I mean, first of all, it's the best sales funnel that I know of. It's what I use for everything. It's my first thing that I try. And I also wanted to display it in a completely separate category from e-commerce because it works for everything. So Bluehost has the WordPress how-to videos, Kevin is saying. Has it been more cost-effective to run Amazon internal ads or ads through this funnel, or both? Amazon internal ads should be run and spent as much money as you can possibly spend on them. They're great for your Amazon products. We run both. We run Amazon internal ads and we run ads outside of Amazon to our Dipsy Doodle funnel over to our Amazon products. And I'd recommend that you do the same. It's not really an either or, they're just completely different because one of them's query based to an Amazon detail page and another one's to a Dipsy Doodle funnel. Susan is still trying to wheel and deal me on my e-commerce bootcamp. Ron is happy with the content, and look at this. Cynthia says that I have a gorgeous baby. This is actually not even my baby. It's my friend's baby, I have to admit, but I do love that baby so much. Actually, having babies on your landing pages increase the increase the time on site. How about that? I got through every single one of your questions. Lorna says you should create a fake baby sales funnel. That is not a fake baby. That's a real baby. Thank you guys so much. I'm happy that you're part of PinCommerce Beta. I think that we're going to do some revolutionary stuff with Pinterest ads and direct response e-commerce sales funnels and other traffic sources as well. So you know, I appreciate you guys being a part of my beta group. I can't do this stuff without you, and so thank you so much. So I'll catch up with you guys on the next one. This is Ezra Firestone on behalf of the Smart Marketer team saying over and out for this week on PinCommerce. Bye, guys.